Okay, I've abandoned the zone output because I noticed with switching over to digital using the Dolby Surround decoder on this, I noticed there was distortion being piggybacked from the zone output because I boosted the outputs. It was being piggybacked onto the which shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen because I thought it would be carrying out discreetly. I thought it would be isolated, but no, apparently I noticed, so I've put all the settings back to the zone 2, back to normal, so I'm going to abandon that and think of option 2, which, using a Harman Kardon AVP1A, is it AVP1A? THX, there. This has got video inputs, as well as audio inputs. That's old school. I like old school. Old school never goes wrong. Only it's got a bit of a hot problem. It gets too damn hot, that AV processor, even when in standby mode, when it shouldn't. It should be fucking totally idle. So if you got one of those processors in your home, switch it off when you go to bed or whatever, because the fucking thing is like a fucking radiator. It works like a radiator. It functions like a fucking radiator. And no, I would not put it on top of here because I want the heat to rise from this out. Because that last AVR, the Onkyo, that was ridiculously hot right at the very back. And that Onkyo now sits in the kitchen. And it's too bad because the Onkyo had a record output. Most of all the other AVRs had a record output, but it's like these new ones. I think that Marantz has got some sort of like resistor. It's like Star Wars, This is the resistance, that shitty Star Wars shit. The resistance. Get it? Get it? And then the first order, yeah? The first order, yeah? Guess what? That's the first order. It's a crossover. That's Star Wars for you. That's shitty fucking Star Wars. And that shit, I don't care. I hope it fucking dies. And I hope they fucking burn every fucking Star Wars print, because as far as I'm concerned, they fucking killed it all. What the fuck am I doing looking in the fridge? I'll feed you midday. That's not midday magic. And you as well. You were fed 5 o'clock. Okay? Play with this. Yeah, comes in a tin foil. Look, got a fucking base port. Looks like that fucking thing looking down at the fucking Death Star with the laser beam going down it. Oh, Duran, no, you can't. Boom. Fuck Star Wars. Yeah. So the Onkyo back here, and if I put my hand at the back, and this ain't acted. That fucking hot that is there. Damn, is that fucking hot? Not too as hot, because I think there's some cool air blowing out from here and it's going downwards, so it's lowering the percentage. But that's where the HDMI board is, around this part here, and that part, when I had the lid off it and touched the fucking HDMI, fucking hell. If I kept my finger on there just a few seconds more, it would have blistered it. That's fucking stupid. What fucking idiot fucking designed that shit? But then again, it's got a record output, so he's a genius. Because these fucking new fucking things, I fear every fucking new AVR now has got no fucking record output, so you can't do what I'm doing. Makes it cool again, makes home cinema great again. And Trump's gonna fucking pay for it. yeah. So yeah, I've got all these other things. They got 8 record outputs. I mean, that's not a bad AVR, but the video now for it is like, because they got this something like HC or HCCP or whatever it's called with the HDMI. Oh, fucking copy protection bullshit, and you know, you just won't get a signal going through it, like one of these TV things, but might have it connected, but I've got the HDMI, not what's it, got that lead there plugged in for the Ethernet. I don't turn this shit on anymore. I was fucking disappointed that, you know, I had was forced to buy a fucking new AVR, and I was quite happy to keep the other one with the Matrix overhead surround. I had to rewire everything, but no. And as far as Dolby Atmos goes, yeah, I tested THX Laserdisc earlier, and I couldn't squeeze any more into the input. It was almost near max. Yeah, so unless of course maybe I can get a small enough preamp and put that on the zone output, and don't do any adjustments on the level adjustments, just use the preamp. That might work. I know that will be running cooler. I know I could use that other Yamaha I got in the bedroom. I could use that because that runs cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of love it or hate it. I kind of like the new Dolby surround, because if I give an example, but someone has got to have the same print. I mean, that's Star Trek I got there. That's the theatrical original Dolby stereo mix, not the crap that's on Blu-ray, because those re-recording mixers totally fucked it up. Yeah, and they're not even the original re-recording mixers, for crying out loud. I mean, it's okay, but when I notice a fuck up somewhere in it, that pisses me off. I hear 1 second fuck up and that pisses me off enough to get lava pouring out my fucking nose. I could do this 2 ways. I could do it via the speakers, or I could do it via the monitor. I just got to find the scene. Okay. Particularly scenes where you have dialogue pans or sound effect pans. Sometimes you get a sound effect and it might pan over this way, but it's also going to be a little bit in the center as well, depending on the phasing or how far it's been shifted and such. But if I go to center discrete there, turn the fader up.
Mr. Silo.
Whoopsie, hit the chapter. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. It's a very crude example of how it would sound, but...
Orbital departure on plot, sir. Yard command signaling clear, sir.
Maneuvering thrusters, Mr. Silo.
Maneuvering thrusters, sir.
Hold station.
And he clicks
at station keeping, sir.
At that point there, he's pressing buttons on the helm control on stage channel right. But what I'm noticing, there's some sort of clever filtering going on where it's sort of cancelling out and sort of anti-phasing or something, and making the center channel sound more or less discrete, even though it's a Dolby Stereo 424 matrix mix. I'll go back, just jog back a few seconds. and then switch it to
Help. Ready, sir.
right. Dialogue's still leaking out a little
Yard
bit.
command signaling clear, sir.
The buttons are clicked.
Maneuvering thrusters, Mr. Silly.
Maneuvering thrusters.
Hold station.
Thrusters.
You can hear those buttons clicking. Still a bit of common, you know, dialogue leakage. That's common. That's not a fault. That's not a big deal. Don't have to panic. But what it makes it easier is listening off axes. Whereas if I hear the buttons on the original Dolby stereo decoder, it'll partly be there and there. Or if there's a sound effect there, it'll be partly there as well in the Dolby Stereo Matrix world, depending on how many, you know, depending on the mix style of the film. I mean, I could listen to something maybe like Predator, where the machine gun goes off and it's like da 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 da, da over this side, and it's very hard pan, more or less. That'd probably sound different. I know, because I played it so many times, switched channels off, listened to it, memorised it. So yeah, I could probably play that Laserdisc again and think, yeah, that's kind of neat, that's kind of cool. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but that's my hint, that's my guess. Some sort of phasing and anti-phasing of cancelling and frequency filtering, and it's happening very, very fast. Yeah, and it's all, sadly, it's all DSP, and that shit can fuck up easy. And then you have to end up getting another one, and then you're gonna start wondering, is it going to be the same? Is the technology the same? Is it absolutely identical? Because it should be. In every AVR, the Dolby Atmos and Dolby Surrounding and whatever, that should all be the same. So what I hear here, and if I went there, I should hear the same. Yeah, and often what I used to do with the Dolby Stereo one sometimes is to get it to sound a little bit more easy over that way, or maybe that way, is delay the center channel only, not the left and right, just the center. Just delay it slightly, just by a few milliseconds or such, or less than a foot or whatever, and then that holds it back and then makes me let that hear that side a little bit easier and that side a little bit easier. But no, it's a little bit different. It's either love it or hate it or embrace it, I don't know. Where is it? Yeah, Dolby Surround. That's kind of confusing, that, you know, you see Dolby Surround and you think no, it's not like the early Dolby Surround decoders for consumers, even though the professional ones, they you know, I'm talking about the very slim one rack this size, the Dolby SDU4, and there's the SDE4, which is the encoder, and then the SD, which is D for decoding, 4 channels, is the yeah. They sell cheap on eBay. They really sell. You get greedy fuckers on eBay that sell them, try to flog them off for £1,000 because of all this hype shit. Because Dolby Labs was saying, "Oh, we're going back to something like the old traditional. Oh, what one of our first something or other surround decoders that they were talking about on videos years ago. Well, back around 2012, I think." Anyway, that hype's all settled down now, isn't it? But you know, you can get a Dolby SDU4 for less than £100. I've seen them go for as much as less than 50, and I thought, why didn't I buy a bundle of them when, you know, but there's plenty of them out there. There are plenty of them out there. And there's some people that just don't, piece of crap, don't want it anymore. Oh, it's nice built, because I can tell it's a bit similar built, I guess, maybe to one of my Dolby. I've got two of them, actually. And these fucking things are heavy. Oh, God's sakes. That is heavy. You could use this as a weapon. I kid you not. It's sharp on the edges, or, well, it would be. You could use this SRA5 as a fucking weapon. You could probably use the SR cards as a weapon. You could throw them at someone, it's going to hurt. This thing's built like a tank. Yeah, I've got two of these. Cheap, very cheaply. And there are quite a few of them selling on eBay cheaply. I've seen a few greedy buggers still got them listed on eBay, and they're not going to sell them. They're not going to get rid of them, selling them at £500. Because no one uses them anymore. Nobody uses those anymore, so might as well just have an antique for the home. Of course, they were great in the day when using them in 35 projection. So, like, you know, oh, it's a Dolby SR print. Wow. Yeah, and it's running on a Dolby CP55. My Dolby CP55's in the bedroom. Not what I used at the cinema. I came from a different cinema. I worked at a different cinema, but where is the 55? Oh yeah, it's down there. It's down there. Needs a bit of attention to it. Needs some hinges for the front panel, because they're made of plastic. What the fuck? I thought Dolby were building these things with fucking metal. Yeah, someone later today has got metal hinges for them. I mean, I'm not paying fucking £25 for a single hinge. You gotta be joking. And hinges are like this. They're like that. They're almost made in the same shape, but they're metal. So they're not gonna. Normally these would break here on the edge, or yeah, just usually on the edge. It happened on, I think this one, or was it this one? No, I think it was this one, and I had to swap the hinges from the 55 and put them onto the 65. Hinges on this one are still intact. Both these I've got cheap than a family fish and chips family meal. And I think both of them came with the did they, or was it? I think it was that one that came with the SR cards, but taking the SR cards out. I've removed the SR cards. No point opening it, it's just more or less the same here, because this one had what did it have? Did it have a dual A-type SR card, or was it just an A-type card? Might have been A-type cards. I got.
That object is less than 2 days away from Earth. We need to intercept while it still is out there.
Oh yeah.
Navigator, lay in a new heading to conform with our initial IP with the intruder. Mr. Zulu, you have the com. Mr. Decker.
Even the door sounds are a lot better.
Mind if I tag
There is
along,
still a
Captain?
bit of level difference. Shh. And it's going to be a bit higher.
Level 5.
But you can hear it a little bit. And that's over to the left. The other one was over to the right, and then it went centre, and then over to the left.
Why was my
I like that.
Sir, the Enterprise
I like
redesigned increases phaser power by channeling it through the main engines.
This film's really hot shit sound. It's better than Last Jedi, I can tell you that. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. That's just based on like better mixing older days, but shit mixing for today, because you know I think they still need to get their learning about this overhead shit, because you can't have brain sound effects coming overhead. It doesn't make sense. Depending on the scene. Now, anyone that experienced real rain in real life, if they are a trained listener and can memorise, rain when you're standing outside is virtually coming down silent.
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
I don't care what anyone fucking says, it's falling, free falling, silent, until it lands on a surface contact object, thus making sound. Otherwise you can take a water drop and then drop it. Can you hear it fucking, you know? No, I don't think you can. It's fucking virtually silent until it fucking lands on an object. And because when you're outside and you're on ground level, you've got trees that are all above, out in the distance and such, therefore you think it's overhead, but it's not. It's only because it's landing on an object that's out there, and then when you walk under it, guess what? You start noticing pit, pat, pit, pat, pit on leaves, branches, don't you? Now, Hollywood sound mixers haven't got a fucking clue to how to mix fucking rain sound effects. Directors as well, they haven't got a fucking clue. What you need is a Dolby Atmos consultant, or you know, someone that says nope, you can't do it this way, and one, you gotta put below surround speakers in. If you're gonna create a three-dimensional fucking sound field, you gotta have below speakers put in, because when you can have rain, depending on where the scene goes, underneath a tree, then you hear it there. As well, you're going to hear partly on the ground as well. Rain is probably the most complex sound effect to make it sound convincing. Period. Otherwise, you might as well just watch the fucking film wearing headphones, and then you'll think, yeah. Because once it goes on speakers, the illusion, you know, trained listener is going to notice that this is not fucking 3D sound. Come on, are you pulling my leg? I mean, I've got below speakers underneath the seating, underneath here, and at the back. I use that for what I call a matrix below surround. I'm not saying too much on how I make it work. That's my own little. Don't PM me. Don't ask. You work it out yourselves. I'm not sharing that fucking information. Or I fucking shared. Well, I don't know. I fucking shared information with Dolby Labs fucking years ago. 1998. With Dolby Labs New York, about using matrix decoder with a DTS Millennium on the Laserdisc player, where I had one of those wired up to the rear surrounds, stereo surround output, to create a centre back surround, or CBS. And I thought, oh wow, it really fucking works. I spoke to Dolby Labs and I thought, oh wow, that's good, that's interesting. That Chris Christopherson, not with a K, with a C. Chris with a C, not a K, not the fucking musician. And that motherfucker, or whoever he is, oh, fucking hell, I feel like punching someone in the face. Yeah, and I still hold the fucking grudge. Those motherfuckers. Dolby Labs are fucking motherfuckers. Like any corporation, they are motherfuckers out there. But I don't give a fuck. Because they come out with whoosh bang bang, Dolby EX. Yeah, and we know what that is. It's a fucking it's a fucking Dolby CP45 modified. It's the same fucking innards. It's the same fucking innard circuit board. It's just been modified, and they even leave some of the parts still on, but they don't say, "Oh, don't need to use this." They change the outputs and put a D connector on it, so you got to use a D connector. Whereas on the back here, there are terminal blocks to push wires in any tighten them wires down. Oh no, what a fucking scam. I don't know how much they sold that SA10 for, but what they sell for today on eBay is laughable. Because you can buy them, well, you might as well have a CP45, because the CP45 can do a little bit more that the SA10 cannot do. Like, these have got crossovers built in them, so you could have your left and right LCR crossover, electronically crossovered, and oh yeah, you got a few more other buttons on it, fairy lights and such. The faders on these are disconnected, the wires off the circuit board, so they're all you know, synced, so all the surrounds are all synced up, aligned with the trim potting. Yeah, fucking lazy fuckers, because that came out just I think a couple of years before 1998. And I think what Dolby Labs thought was that and they're probably thinking, what have we got? You know, maybe if they thought about it a little bit, you know, they could have done that whole bloody EX thing cheaply, way more cheaply, but no. Fucking hell, I don't know what they were flogging them at, but I think they were about $1,000. I think they were about $1,000 or $2,000. Ugh. And now you can get these fucking things for like £25. 25 fucking pound. Well, I got mine for £25, and that's cheaper than that. That was 180 or 179. God. And it's the same fucking ProLogic fucking chip, although some are slightly different and something, but eyes fucking rolling. Yeah. Battery's getting a bit low on the camera, it's going to shut off any moment. Anyway, so yeah, I'll embrace the new Dolby surround for the moment, but I'm not a big fan of having 4:2:4 matrix films with fake stereo surrounds. I'm not a big fan of that, because they done that shit so badly on some Blu-rays like 2010 Blue Thunder, where they absolutely fucked up the mix at Sony or Warner Brothers. I don't care where, but whoever the fucking re-recording mixer was, he needs his hands hammered with a fucking hammer so he doesn't touch a mixing console again, because he created such an appalling mix. What he done with both